City volunteers make eco-friendly trinkets for visitors during the Lunar New Year holiday period. An elderly Tzu Chi volunteer dedicates herself to the children at the Penang Tzu Chi Kindergarten in Malaysia. Welcome to DaAi Headlines. I'm Siri Su. Thank you for joining us. To celebrate the Lunar New Year, Tzu Chi volunteers from Taiping District in Taichung have been making eco-friendly trinkets. All of the creative works will be given to the visitors at the Humanitarian Ecotech Pavilion during the holiday period.
This handicraft fish is a symbol of the Lunar New Year, and it comes with a Jingsi aphorism as well.
People usually say that a family that accumulates goodness is sure to have abundant happiness, in which the fish symbolizes good fortune. As the Lunar New Year is coming, we'll also wish each other to have the prosperity in the new year.
These handicraft fishes were made from recycled materials. Later, they will be attached to the Jingsi bookmarks, and they are very easy to make.
They were made from the recycled materials. We hope this can help us form good affinities with the visitors.
If you visit the Humanitarian Ecotech Pavilion during the Lunar New Year holidays, you can receive the bookmarks. In addition, on Valentine's Day, February 14, handicraft flowers will also be given to everyone. Here, the recycled plastic bags are turning into beautiful flowers. The volunteers make the plastic flowers using their thumbs. They will fill with joy despite the pain on their hands.
Sometimes our hands will cramp up while making the flowers.
The Lunar New Year will soon arrive. Have you decided where to go during the holidays? Maybe visiting the Humanitarian Ecotech Pavilion at the Flora Expo is also a good choice.
Liao Yongson was deeply touched by Tzu Chi's missions when he attended Entrepreneur Jingsi Camp back in 2016. He started to do recycling with the other volunteers. Unfortunately, in 2018, he had to undergo a surgery. What got him through the difficult recovery process was his initial vow to do recycling until his last breath.
On the quiet morning streets by the lakeside of Sun Moon Lake, there's a beautiful scene. Several Tzu Chi recycling volunteers are efficiently sorting and transporting recyclable goods. Among them is nearly 70-year-old Liao Yongson.
It was due to recycling volunteer Wang that I came into contact with recycling. He taught me everything. He let me try it slowly. I feel very joyful through this process. My health has also gotten better.
Liao Yongson owns a buffet restaurant. In 2016, he participated in the Entrepreneur Jingsi Camp. He really believes in Tzu Chi's concepts, so when he returned, he volunteered in many Tzu Chi's community service activities. Unfortunately, on one occasion, his toe was accidentally injured. Thus, he had to temporarily stop doing recycling.
When he was at the Entrepreneur Jingsi Camp, he had already told me that if given the chance, he wanted to start being a Tzu Chi volunteer.
He actively did Tzu Chi work until March of 2018, when he was hospitalized for a benign tumor of the stomach and gallstones. After the surgery, his energy level wasn't like before. He solely relied on his willpower and perseverance to overcome the difficult recovery process.
I made a vow I will continue to do good deeds until my last breath.
I think the more he does, the better his health gets. It wasn't like this before. Now he's wholeheartedly devoted to what he's doing.
Liao Yongson's dedication has been recognized by the entire neighborhood.
Mr. Liao is very hardworking. Every morning he would go sweep the streets clean. He makes the environment very pleasant and relaxing for people who do morning exercises.
Liao Yongson is filled with humility. He silently dedicates his life for the betterment of society.
Next, we'll meet 76-year-old Tzu Chi volunteer Ling Mei Ping. Her mother wandered away from home due to dementia. Unfortunately, when she found her, she had already passed away. Then 1 month after her mother's funeral, her husband suffered from a stroke and left this world. Losing both of her beloved ones made her depressed. Fortunately, after joining Tzu Chi, she found a new meaning in life. Wenjiang, how are you doing up there? When I look at the old pictures, you're still young. Now that I'm already 76 years old. You left the world too soon. I have so much to tell you, but I didn't have the chance to do so. I want to tell you that I have done my part as a mother and daughter-in-law. I built up my strength through encountering life's challenges, telling myself to take care of this family at all times. I've done it. Did you see it?
Grandma Lin misses her husband while looking at the photos from 30 years ago. In 1988, both of her mother and husband passed away, turning her world upside down. She began to lose hope and there were more challenges.
It wasn't long before Grandma's funeral was finished, Dad had suddenly passed away. Plus, our neighbors started to gossip, which deeply hurts my mother's feelings, making her feel depressed.
Despite the rumors, she still wanted to be a strong mother. Therefore, she had pulled herself together and shouldered the responsibilities of taking care of the family. Through Dharma, she also found her inner peace.
Whenever someone is saying bad things about me, I think of it as helping me overcome the past obstacles, turning myself stronger. I recite the Dharma with friends. While reciting, my mind will always calm down.
My mother hopes all of us can be like her, listening to Dharma Master Zhen Yan's teachings. Whenever we turn on TV, the channel is always DaAi Television. As you can see, Tzu Chi has become part of the family's life. After Mom joined Tzu Chi, she learned how to manage her own time. For example, she knows what time she should be at the recycling station or volunteer at the hospital. And of course, she takes good care of our family.
Grandma Lin frees herself from pain. Now she will go to the recycling station early in the morning to help with sorting. She has built up a strong friendship with the other volunteers as well.
Whenever she has time, she will come to the recycling station. Her son's company has recyclable items, in which she will bring them back here as well. I'm impressed by her devotion. She follows Dharma Master Zhen Yan's principle of cleaning up and recycling at the source. Besides implementing recycling practices into her life, she also conserves water and saves electricity.
By doing good deeds, Grandma Lin found the meaning of life. Besides the recycling station, we can also find her footsteps at the Jinsi Books and Cafe and the hospital.
What I like about Mom is that she puts all of her efforts into Tzu Chi and lives happily every day. You can feel that she has contributed herself into everything, always doing her best. Although I haven't done that much, but I wanted myself to be like her in the future, to have a compassionate heart.
My mom always said that she is a negligible person, but for me, she is not like that. She is a dedicated person who is doing something great and significant.
In 1996, she became a certified Tzu Chi commissioner and later an honorary board member. After 10 years, her 4 children also became honorary board members. Grandma Lin wanted to give all she can to the society, helping more people walk out of darkness. As one can see, with strong vows comes strength.
In the past, I felt that I haven't done enough. Now I want to put as much effort as possible into doing good deeds. I want to serve people and form good affinities. Next, we'll meet the elderly Tzu Chi volunteer from Malaysia. She used to be a kitchen worker at the Penang Tzu Chi Kindergarten. However, she had to quit her job to take care of her ill husband. She missed the children very much. Therefore, when her husband passed away, she found herself heading back to the kindergarten to be a full-time volunteer. When our body is still able, we need to do good deeds. Our hearts are full of energy. We come to the kindergarten to volunteer. Whether it is a 4-year-old, 5-year-old, 6-year-old, we must take good care of them.
Every morning, we will see the 73-year-old Nshigwa standing in front of Penang Tzu Chi Kindergarten. After her husband had passed away, she has officially become a full-time volunteer at the kindergarten.
3 years ago is like the grandmother of the children in the kindergarten. I can see that a lot of children, they are very comfortable when they see school at the door.
We have to care for the children with compassionate hearts. It is to give our love that we come here to volunteer. If you stay at home, there aren't many things that you can do. Living an idle life can actually make you age faster. Sometimes the children will cry. Therefore, we will help the teachers in comforting and talking to the child.
As we can see, Grandma Shigwa deeply cares about the children. In the past, she used to be a kitchen worker at the kindergarten. This is why she understands the hard work of the teachers in terms of taking care of the little ones.
I come to the kitchen to prepare some food for the teachers. They work really hard to look after the children.
Since Grandma Shigwa is in her 70s already, she does have some mobility issues. However, she has found a way to overcome these obstacles.
Whenever my feet hurt, I'd always talk to them like a person. I would say, I'm very grateful for you. Now please get well soon because I need to go to the kindergarten and do volunteer work. Our bodies do listen to us if you wholeheartedly communicate with it.
Her mind is very pure and has a kind heart. Although she's already in her 70s, every time when someone asks her age, she would say that she's only 5 years old. This is because she wants to be just like the children, simple and innocent.
Grandma Shigwa is a devoted volunteer who enjoys doing Tzu Chi's work. Her selfless giving has inspired many. The most touching part is her childlike purity.
In China, Tzu Chi volunteers have delivered love and warmth to the residents in Sandu Shui Autonomous County, benefiting a total of 238 families. Many scholarship recipients also help out at the event. They said that since they've received help from others, they must also give back.
Today, Tzu Chi Foundation has come to give their love and warmth to us for the third time.
They are giving us the much-needed help. I hope the impoverished families in our village not only can appreciate the aid supplies, but also feel inspired to do good deeds in their own ways.
Nearly 40 Tzu Chi volunteers from Taiwan, Guizhou, Sichuan, Chongqing, and Suzhou have gathered here to deliver New Year wishes.
Coming to Guizhou again, we sincerely deliver the care and best wishes from the global Tzu Chi volunteers.
Tzu Chi's founder, Dharma Master Zheng Yan, gives her blessings, and she hopes you all will take good care of your health.
You are like a majestic bird flying down from the skies.
Many scholarship recipients came here in the afternoon to help out with the event.
This is my first time being a volunteer. I feel very happy to be able to serve others. I feel very good about it from within. Helping people makes one happy.
It is because other people have helped me in my time of need, so I should give back in whatever way I can as well.
Young volunteers bowed and delivered the supplies with the utmost respect.
The lower we bow, the more respect we show. It is not easy for these residents to come here, have waited for us so early. So the lower we bow, the more respect we are showing each and every one of them.
As we distributed the supplies, I started to wonder, why did we arrange to give out the living necessity packs at the first station? I've discovered that Tzu Chi volunteers do things with so much mindfulness. I've also realized that when someone is feeling needed and cared for, it's a very fortunate and blissful thing.
You guys really care about me and make me feel so loved. You have taken really good care of me.
Delivering warmth in the freezing winter, the youth volunteers have found themselves a new grandmother in their lives.
他们两个当你孙女好不好？哦，好嘛。抱一下，抱一下，抱一下。
Tzu Chi volunteers' love and warmth have helped them build a strong relationship with the residents. Today, we'll continue to look at water resources as we examine Taiwan's large number of reservoirs. At the moment, there are 95 domestic reservoirs. The newest one, completed in 2016, is the Hushan Reservoir. Currently, there are two opposing opinions on reservoirs.
This is the youngest reservoir in Taiwan. The reason why the Hushan Reservoir in Yunlin County was built was to solve the problem of insufficient surface water in Yunlin County, to solve dependence upon underground water. However, the entire construction process has been filled with controversy. The first was a conservation area for the bird, the fairy pitta, and secondly was Stone Age ruins during the excavation process. The Hushan Reservoir was opened in April 2016, some 10 years after the Baoshan Second Reservoir was opened.
他认为任何一个工程的开发都会影响到这个生态啊。
Environmental groups believe that any sort of project will affect local ecology. The second is that a lot of people are worried about the safety of reservoirs. This is because we have a lot of faults in Taiwan.
台湾的断层带
In recent years, the government's building of a reservoir has caused heated debate. In the process of building such reservoirs, there will be initial damage, as there is a sort of tug of war between ecological preservation and local development.
The reason we oppose it is not because we don't like development, but because the number of conditions here were not suitable. And the water level plan for the Penang Dam was simply too high. This would have put pressure on those in the area and impacted geographical landscape and daily life.
Disputing this opposition, a number of experts bluntly say that reservoirs provide useful functions such as water supply, flood control, irrigation, tourism, and power generation. They note reservoirs can play an important role in promoting economic development, citing the Fei Cui Reservoir as an example. The Fei Cui Reservoir was entirely planned and built by local authorities. However, when the plan was proposed in 1974, the opposition was vocal as they worried it would be too close to Taipei. And in the event of war or earthquake, its destruction would affect Taipei. At the time, Taipei Mayor Ling Mei insisted on building it to prevent the city from experiencing water shortages and prevent subsidence. Data from experts showed that in 1988, subsidence of the strata in the Taipei Basin almost stopped. It also recovered by 2 centimeters.
因为地下水的抽
Because of groundwater pumping, the ground around it began to sag as it was discovered that these subsistence problems were related to groundwater. This led to regulations and prohibition in pumping, but people still need water. For this reason, the Fei Cui Reservoir was built.
Experts also say that without this reservoir, Taipei would be subject to near constant flooding. At the beginning of August 2015, Typhoon Sodalor struck Taipei with heavy rain, leading the Damsui River to rise. Some netizens photographed the river bank near the Huanhe North Road, where the river almost overflowed the embankment.
Fei Cui Reservoir can of course reduce the probability of flooding when a typhoon comes. This is because the Fei Cui Reservoir can store floodwaters. That is, some of this water will remain in the reservoir and not flow downstream.
在这个点上面有2大水库，一个是
There are 2 large reservoirs. One is Fei Cui Reservoir and the other is Simon Reservoir. If there are no such reservoirs, I think the water would already overflow. These reservoirs are very good at flood control.
所以水库它还有防洪的功能。
In the upper reaches of the Fei Cui Reservoir in the Shiding district of New Taipei City, there are many lakes and reservoirs. The most famous is Thousand Island Lake. In order to build the reservoir, the homes of hundreds of households were submerged. Yang Sangguo, a senior employee of the Fei Cui Reservoir, is an experienced captain. Under the clear turquoise water, there's a hidden map in his mind. Bishan village was the middle of the Beishui River, but was forced to move because of the reservoir. But the ancestral grave of the residents is still in the catchment area. However, this wasn't enough to stop the project from going forward.
During the tomb sweeping holiday, there are more people, and we will send out boats beginning early in the morning for these residents. These boats will go out every day, and we do this every year.
According to the statistics from the Ministry of Economic Affairs, there are a total of 95 reservoirs of all sizes in Taiwan. However, due to the effects of siltation, the total effective water storage capacity is only 1.99 million cubic meters, which is significantly lower than the past years. With the government's intention to stop building reservoirs, is existing reservoir capacity in Taiwan sufficient?
那这30年内大概就多了
In the past 30 years, they probably added more than 100 million cubic meters. This is from the Baoshan 2 and the Hushan reservoirs, and then we take into account the amount of siltation during this period. Therefore, the capacity of the water we have in the reservoirs is less than 30 years ago. There is also a question about whether our Taiwanese population has increased during the past 30 years. Is our economy developing? Is our demand higher? I think the reservoir is the most effective way to deal with water resources. Also, the ecological impact can be managed at a later date.
There's a trend in the world that opposes construction of reservoirs, because the ecology of the entire area will change after the reservoir is completed.
In view of the controversy over reservoirs and their opposition, their construction has slowed. Zhongzhuang Water Storage and Adjustment Pool is a flat reservoir. Its predecessor was the Dahan Creek drainage ditch. It was officially opened in 2017. It has an emergency water volume of 5.05 million tons. Water stored here can be used if the turbidity in the Ximen Reservoir is too high or water volumes are insufficient.
有水的时候，我们从大安
When you have water, we take from Dahan Creek and put into the Zhongchuan Water Storage and Adjustment Pool. The only drawback is that it is small.
The first large-scale high-turbidity backup pool in Taiwan opened a new era of water storage. If you want to keep water, every household will install a water tower. How to install a few water towers for Taiwan to hold hard-to-reach water resources. If you don't build a reservoir, what other ways are there to open-source water in Taiwan?
To celebrate the Lunar New Year, Tainan City volunteers visited different police stations. Besides delivering their best wishes to the police officers, they also gave out beautiful lanterns. Thank you for joining us. Goodbye.